All right, everyone. It's our maiden voyage into a live broadcast. We want to welcome you in here to our Midnight Magic Musings episode 19. Again, it is our first live attempt. We apologize in advance for any craziness or zaniness that may take place because, hey, we're learning on the fly with you, everyone. I hope you're doing well. My name is Lord Cephas. I am but your humble host. I am joined by the Earl of Florida. Earl, how are you doing on this Thursday night, April 27th, 2023?
Can you smell that? No, I'm still not humble. And this is our maiden voyage, as you pointed out. So, welcome one and all to the madness that is at midnight. Not quite midnight, but it's midnight somewhere. So it
It,
counts.
it is midnight somewhere. For those of you that may be joining us for the first time, or maybe you're watching the replay, we thank you for joining us as well. We started this journey almost a year ago, about 9 months ago, and we usually spend our time talking around midnight. And so we thought to ourselves, hey, why don't we just record something for posterity, something our kids can watch and go, wow, they were really, really goofy. And so that's kind of been the genesis of this Midnight Magic Musings channel. But before we get too deep into it, we would ask of you to go ahead and click the like button there at the bottom. If you're live, we appreciate it. If you're watching this on replay, click live. That absolutely helps us in the YouTube algorithm. We would ask you to click subscribe if you've not already done so. Again, we appreciate you all coming along, walking this journey out with us, and share this out. If you enjoy the content that we produce, and we produce a lot of different types of content, share it out if you would. We would greatly appreciate it. And so we are not going to delay our start. We're going to jump right into it. And first things first, we are starting out with our Midnight Magic Musings celebration. Now, uh, now the Earl had said, maybe we should do something special when we cross 50 subscribers. So you have to understand, we took a sabbatical off and we came back about the second week of January. We started being more precise in when we released videos. And I believe at the time, Earl, yeah, okay. And I believe we had about 20 subscribers, and we were very grateful for those individuals who did that. And we started producing our content. And you know what? Here we are in April 27th, and we actually just hit 70 subscribers. So we've had quite a growth spurt in these 3 months. So we appreciate everybody for doing that. So we thought, well, you know what? We were going to do it for 50, and then all of a sudden it hit 60. And we're like, well, we can do it for 60. Now it's at 70. We're just going to do it. We'll probably try it again when we get to 100, which will probably be here shortly. So Earl,
we're doing 90. Just do it.
We're just going to do 90 just because. Okay, yeah. You heard him. Get us to 90. We'll do another one. Earl, what's your biggest celebration so far from Midnight Magic Musings? What we've been able to do?
I've actually had a lot of enjoyment out of watching your jokes of the day. They're bad and they make me cry on the inside and cringe only because I wasn't able to come up with it first. So that is part of my enjoyment. The other part of my enjoyment is watching some of these trailers that come out and sharing some of my ridiculously random, crazy ideas and thoughts that roll through my head. I actually had somebody mention to me their favorite one was when I was watching the Sokka trailer, mm-hmm. and that little animal thing that popped up, and I was like, "What?" Right. They're like that had them laughing the rest of the day, and I'm like, you know what? That made my day. And I afflicted somebody with laughter for an entire day. Made me giggle on the inside. How about you, Cephas? What's your crowning glory?
I think probably our section of the channel that does our really bad dad jokes has given me some of the most pleasure of driving people absolutely crazy because they're bad and they're intentionally bad. And I just got dared to do it one day, and I did, and some people liked it, and I did another one, some people liked it, and now people keep coming back every day, clicking on these dad jokes. And so since you brought it up, I wasn't going to do it, but since you did, Earl, I brought a dad joke for you. Are you ready? Okay, I guess you're not. What do a tick
I'm not ready for this.
I know you're not. What do a tick and the Eiffel Tower have in common?
I'm sure I'm not ready for this, but they both, I don't know.
They're both parasites. Get it? Parasites. See, it's funny because it works. It makes sense. And the Earl is gone. Okay, well, you know what? It's like
that was a horrible joke.
And the Baron, Broken Downtown, has decided to join us
Oh
unexpectedly.
Lord,
And by unexpectedly, I mean we knew it was coming.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I know,
We
I know you
learned
don't know what we're talking
we
about.
learned in our interview with John Wick that
Hmm.
you are the Baron of Burntown or Boomtown or whatever town he's from, not me, not me in a hat. It's Lord Cephas.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen all the stuff we put out, and we certainly understand, we started doing this because we want to do some pop culture thoughts, things running through our minds. When we have Marvel thoughts or Disney thoughts or Star Wars thoughts, which we have lots of them, we started doing Midnight Magic Musings, and then it just kind of grown into, hey, why doesn't the Earl watch a trailer and give his comments on it? Oh, that's pretty good. And then we started doing a show called Realm of Reality, where we talk about one specific topic for that time. And then we thought, hey, we've got this Watcher Files now where he's watching stuff. We got a Realm of Realities. There are other things we can add. Well, we started adding the dad jokes. We have been
Well,
lifelong wrestling fans, so we've been doing the Combat One Wrestling podcast, following pay-per-views the last several months.
well,
We've
not to
even
interrupt, but we have two comments. The first is from WD. We'll give your initials, and it
okay.
says, "Woohoo! Congrats!" And you know what? Thank you, thank you
You
very
know what,
much.
WD? Thank you very much. We appreciate those kind comments. We're having fun doing this. This is not
And
what we do for a living. This is just kind of our creative outlet to kind of blow off some steam and enjoy
the
ourselves. Go ahead,
second
Earl.
comment, I'm going to paraphrase. It may not be the exact transliteration of it, but it says,
Okay.
"Kill the Lord Cephas." I mean, I'm pretty sure it says "kill the Lord Cephas." It's spelled "kill the Barron." So I'm pretty sure that means Lord Cephas. Kill the Lord Cephas, and we're
Mhm.
working on that.
You're not out of line with that because a lot of people have wanted a piece of me. We even had a video on that on Friday where I was called out here on my own channel. I got called out by one of our patrons, a baron, you might say. Did not appreciate some of my dad jokes, but that's okay. But when we started doing this, we just wanted to talk some pop culture, and it's just kind of it's really become a bit of a variety channel. We do all kinds of stuff on here. We cover sports on here. We have a one-on-one sports podcast. I'll drop information in the middle of the night when I'm up because I can't sleep and I'm watching stuff. Well, let's talk about it. So we have a lot of different pieces here, but ultimately our goal was to create something that would be family friendly. That's
We
something that's important to the Earl and I. Earl,
we
what?
have two
Why are
more
you?
comments.
Oh
Uh,
no,
Curious Entertainment says, "I love you guys," and we don't know who you are, but I love you too.
we
Thank you for
love
the
you
shout
back.
out. Thank
Appreciate
you for
that.
the subscribe.
Mhm.
And JA is back that says, "You will burn." I'm only assuming she again is referencing the Lord Cephas, not the Baron, and certainly not the Earl of Florida, who is a paragon of virtue. Thank you, JA, for your kind words toward myself and the Baron, and thank you for putting the blame where it belongs on the Lord Cephas. You know, he is humble because he has done a lot of wrong. I am not so humble because I haven't done anything that I don't deserve to be humbled about. I'm perfectly.
Yeah, for
I
fans
can't
of
really push
wrestling,
that.
yeah, they would understand when I reference the Iron Sheik here. You need to be humbled, is what needs to be happen. But again, a family friendly broadcast, and that really is the goal. We just want to have some fun, share that with everybody. We don't take ourselves super seriously because you know what, we have day jobs and lives that are serious enough. We just come on and have a little fun here. So that's our celebration. That's why we're here tonight. So I figure, Earl, let's just jump right into the very first topic that we have. Now, just to let you know, we have severe thunderstorms coming through my area. Earl lives about an hour and 15 minutes northwest of me, so he's catching the same thing that I am. If we get knocked out, hey, you know what? We had a nice 10-minute run. We enjoyed it. We'll see you next week, but here we go. Earl, our first topic, Transformers, Rise of the Beasts. Had a chance to sit down and watch the trailer a couple of times over the last couple of days. I just want to touch on it a little bit because we haven't really touched on this. It's a little bit of a continuation, it seems like, of the most recent Transformers movie, the one in 2017, was a Dark Side of the Moon. Um, was the one that they did. It kind of seems like it's a successor to that. I will tell you, as a child of the 80s, when I saw Unicron, who appears to be the big bad in this movie, I popped huge for it because I'm a fan of the 1986 Transformers, the animated movie. I will argue with anybody who wants to go around with me. It is one of the best movies with one of the best soundtracks that's ever existed. Because you know what they had, Earl? They had the
Rodimus
touch.
Prime.
But they had the touch.
Rodimus Prime.
They had the power.
And
I'm not giving it to you. You can just keep saying it. I do not acknowledge his leadership over
well,
the Autobots.
Lady Cephas has asked, "What's the scoop on Disney?" Well, ma'am, we're almost there.
Well, Lady Cephas, that is one of the topics we're going to cover here next in our 90-day fiance section of the program. Yeah, you got to stick around to see what that's about. But Earl, I watched the trailer several times. It seems really, really good. The animation seems really good. It seems to fit in. To be honest, it looked a little bit like a Marvel or a Star Wars movie in parts there with
Don't
the action.
don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't put that evil. We want this to succeed. We want it to not hit Ant-Man numbers. We want it to rise, not like the Phoenix, because that is literally what's going on with Marvel and Star Wars at the moment. So please do not put that evil on Transformers. There's only so much pain that I can take. There's only so much my heart can take.
Well, first of all, you'd have to have a heart for to worry about how much it could take. But like the Grinch,
I
perhaps
bought one on eBay.
did you now? Well, maybe like the Grinch, yours can grow 3 sizes in one day. Maybe your heart will grow big.
Better
But
not.
well, bigger at least. So, what are your thoughts on the Transformers: Rise of the Beast? Are you expecting a success? Are you excited about it? What are some
You
of
know
your
what?
opinions?
After seeing Transformers 2, when the giant crane transformer was wielding some anatomically incorrect appendages, that was just unnecessary and disturbing. And after that, and I realized people are still going to go watch Transformers. It can be a horrible movie. It can be ridiculous aspects of it. You can watch, like, let me tell you, if this plot gets, Autobots unite, and their leader, Optimus Prime, falls to die. But at the end, we find a way to manage to bring him back, and he rallies us to victory. How many times have we seen that movie? 3 times? 3 times out of what? 6 movies?
I could also count the TV series, the cartoon series. When I was a little boy when they
Well,
brought
yeah.
him
Well,
back
there.
eventually, and like was into season 3 or something like that. They brought him back. 'Cause he was
But I
floating
mean,
out in
we've
space.
seen the same movie now how many times just in the live action versions? And does it really matter if it's Shia LaBeouf or if it's Mark Wahlberg or if it's John Cena? I couldn't see him, so it didn't
How
matter.
did you know he was even there? Yeah,
I
great
mean,
point.
it was his name was in there, but I didn't see him anywhere. But I'm like, does it really matter really who the human characters are? We just want to see Autobots. We just want to see kicking butt. And the most excellent trailer for Transformers was from Legacy Fist. And just before that, one is the Transformers reaction video. We're going to come to those really quickly. But yeah,
Yep.
the trailer, a lot of fun. I love the gorilla. I love the inclusion that we got to see a little bit of our Dido friends. And
Yep.
you know what? I really don't care what the story is. I'm signed up to see more explosions and see Autobots and Decepticons. I don't care. They got my money. They've just taken my money. Keep Disney and Star Wars out of your mouth.
And I apologize for that, folks. But as far as I'm concerned, as long as you have Peter Cullen being the voice of Optimus Prime, my heart is happy because he was the voice of Optimus in the 80s cartoons.
Yep.
Seeing RC in there, man, I just popped so big for that. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, you've got the Maximals. I guess they're the Predacons. I guess they're calling them the Terrorcons now or something. I don't know. But that's basically what they are. And I do find it interesting, Earl, to a point you made. They kind of de-emphasized a lot of the humans. They didn't make the humans the emphasis of that trailer. It really is about the Autobots, the Decepticons, the Beast Wars, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Well,
I think this has a chance to be very successful.
Well, Curious Entertainment did say Predacon, so he is in agreement with you, or
Okay.
she is in agreement with you, or the
Mhm.
AI that's impersonating a person is in agreement with you. We don't know.
What is
We don't
wrong
know.
with you? I'm not
There's
going to
a
let you
lot
read
wrong.
comments. You're not going to be allowed to read comments if you're going to continue to act this way.
I'm the color commentator. You really think I'm going to read these correctly? Like, when is a Transformer reaction movie? Well, video. You know what? Since you asked for it, it won't be tonight because I don't want to. It's late. I'm tired, and we're doing this. So, but you know what? It might happen tomorrow. But if not tomorrow, check it out Saturday, and we will throw a mention for your name in there for you, Jelly Bean.
Are you going to again besmirch me in that trailers? You always find a way in every one of your watcher files to insult me. Will you continue the trend?
Is it besmirching if it's true?
I'll get back to you on that. I'm not quite sure how I want to answer that one just yet. Uh,
So,
last couple of things on this. It is in 1994 is where this trailer is set. So it's still some, 25 years ago or 35 years ago behind. But I think it works.
yeah,
The graphics looked pretty good. I'm looking forward to this. Now, this drops in June. So it's going to be very interesting to see
yeah.
how this movie turns out, how successful it can be. All right. Well, that's topic number one. Let's jump into topic number two. And this is in honor of Lady Cephas, who did ask. So we are going to show it to everyone. And we have titled this Disney 90 Day Fiance. And if you're not a fan of TLC, used to be the Learning Channel. They don't really call it that anymore because I have not learned a lot from TLC other than there's some crazy stuff out there in the world. But we're gonna borrow the moniker for just a moment. Um, Disney's got a really big 90-day period coming up. Starting with next weekend, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to drop. Now, Marvel's,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I want to be careful how I say that. Marvel's talking this thing up, and I'm glad. I want this movie to be a success. You know my heart, Earl. I have loved the Guardians from before they were a comic or before they were a movie all the way to this point. But I'll be candid with you. I got some trepidation based on the last Marvel movie, which still has not paid off my pizza yet. But we can talk about that off air if you
You know
want.
what? You can keep your wings to yourself, and here are the comments that are also going to be shared with you.
Okay.
Um, JA said that point goes to the Earl, and ma'am, you are completely right, and you have impeccable taste. The Earl is always right. And Curious Entertainment has said TLC. How about tables, ladders, chairs? You, sir, are a connoisseur. You should check out our one of our other streams, which is
Our Combat One Wrestling podcast, where we would be able to talk about Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudleys, who really set TLC on fire back in the early 2000s,
well,
late 90s,
tables,
early
ladders,
2000s.
chairs.
That's
But
right. We could testify, Devon. We could testify. We
now,
won't, but we could. We could definitely
now,
go into that.
continuing with that particular line of carnage, let us talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. There are rumors that some people are expecting it to crash and burn, and those are hurtful words. And Lady Sufis wants to know how much I'm paying her, Earl, and the answer is, I'll never tell.
Whatever the answer is, it will not be bumping up my bank account more than likely. But there is a lot of talk that it's tracking for about 130 million. Now, if it does that, that sounds like a lot of money. I mean, to me or to you, that's a lot of money. But if it hits around 130 on that first weekend, that's actually lower than Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yep.
That would be a really big issue for this franchise because one thing we saw with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, it had a good opening weekend, but nowhere near what it needed. And when word of mouth got out, it was done. It was off a cliff, Wile E. Coyote style, man overboard,
You know,
and
I
it never recovered.
I would argue that it wasn't word of mouth; that was word of critic mouth, and not enough word of mouth from the actual audience because the audience gave it. I think it was like an 85. It was like a B
Yeah,
somewhere in there. It was the critics that ripped the heart out and the engine out of the engine that could not go. And Curious Entertainment says Thor 4 hurts to talk about. You're absolutely right.
it does.
You know,
I thought the goats were funny the first 15 times, but after that, it was kind of bad. The joke was bad.
if I had the power
I
to
couldn't
kick
help
you off
it.
there right now, I would, Lord.
That's why I
Cephas.
don't give you administrative privileges. Only
That
I
is
get to hit the
completely
button.
accurate. And let me just say that the more I thought about it, uh, your hero at the end created an army of children to fight the villain that he couldn't fight by himself.
He also had to have a cancer victim help him. Let's just be honest with how the movie was.
Yeah,
But I know what they were going for. I just feel like they didn't get there. They had ideas I think were good, but the execution was rough.
So the question is, does Godfather Gunn able to execute his vision for what he sees for the book end of his trilogy, Guardians of the Galaxy, and what does that actually look like? We know that the fans, and we are fans. Let us
Absolutely.
not confuse you by the fancy blah blah blah. But we are fans first and foremost, and we know what we want, but we also know that we have a little bit of expectation that we're going to cry, and we don't want to cry. I mean, it's okay if Lord Cephas cries. He cries during everything, everything.
I'm a very emotional person. Don't judge me.
He's
But to save Earl from further embarrassment that he's just going to heap on me, I've already said if Rocket dies, I riot. It may be a riot of one in the theater, but darn it, I'm rioting. You'll see it on the news. So I don't
well,
want that to happen because number one, he's my favorite Marvel character, but number two, he's also the big statue out in front of the Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Epcot. It would be kind of silly to kill off the person who's in front of the ride, who's supposed to be kind of your host on that ride. I
well,
feel like that's not very good long
uh,
term planning.
Lady Cephas says Thor 4 should be burned along with Lord Cephas. I just added that last part. But then she also said it's going to be great. Rocket forever. Now, how long do raccoons actually live? Like 7 years, 10 years, 12 years? Because,
First of all, he's been genetically altered. I
yeah,
don't
maybe the
know.
lifespan has been shortened.
Or
Yeah.
extended. Come on, look at it. There are
I,
biometrics involved here.
only because he wants to build the perfect being. I want to
He
see
really
what
does.
he thinks. I'm like, the eye and then the arm, and then he gets an arm, but is it canon? It's not canon, but it could be canon.
It
if
could
it's
be canon
a
though,
replica arm. I mean, we also know there's a lot of. Okay, we're talking about the Guardian Holiday Special. If you don't know what we're talking about,
which was really really good. I thought
it was. It should not have been that good. I giggled. Kevin Bacon.
that was good. I'm sorry. The Guardians are their own little place in the universe, and I think that's the one thing that can really help this movie. They don't need the Avengers to show up. It would be very weird if any Avengers showed up.
Yeah,
They don't need that, and I'm kind of glad that they've kind of moved Thor out of that. They
yeah.
don't need that. They're
They
their
need
own little.
Captain Marvel though.
You stop it right now or end the broadcast right now. They're their own little creation in their own little corner of the galaxy, and I think that works for them. And that actually, because I'm ignoring you, might be the very best thing that will work for them in the future. I feel like it's going to be a moderate hit, somewhere in a moderate range. It's not going to hit 1 billion. I don't believe that Disney can hit 1 billion anymore unless it's got Spider-Man's name on it, and that would be a Sony property technically. So they can claim credit for it, but it's not really accurate. I think the Guardians will be okay. I think the numbers will be just okay, but I will say this: if the numbers are bad, now all of a sudden you've got 2 straight Marvel movies that have struggled. And the reason we named it 90 Day Fiancé is guess what comes right after that? The Little Mermaid, which it's either going to be a massive hit or it's going to Davy Jones's locker. I don't think there's any middle ground with this movie.
Well, we have another shout out for Groot Forever, Vin Diesel, and Bradley Cooper. Their voices are kind of iconic at this point. So I got to give it to you. Sure, it's entertainment. Remember how I was going to give you a shout out? I changed my mind. That comment is no longer acceptable.
Well, that's rude.
Earl needs help. That hurt. That cuts me.
I curious. Just so you know, I logged in.
What? Maybe they knew what they were talking about because they said no Brie Larson.
We'll get to the Marvels one day. Lady Cephas weighed in as well, said bacon forever. I think really that trumps anything we had to talk about tonight. If you can be bacon, be bacon. I think that should be the goal. It's like if you can be Batman, be Batman. No, if you can have bacon, have bacon. Had it for lunch. It was worthy. So we did hear this week that Zoe Saldana, who plays Gamora, said specifically she's done with Marvel. She's moving on. I mean, she's got a burgeoning career with Avatar. She's in that. She's got other projects.
It's the same thing. She's done with Marvel, but she's still working for kind of Marvel with Disney, though.
But to be fair, Disney claims credit for Avatar is really a 20th Century Fox deal. James Cameron. Again, we're going to untie some of these binds. But she's moved on. We know Dave Bautista said he wants to move on. Look, he's in his mid-50s, and it's just darn hard to stay in that kind of shape, to go through the costuming, and by
Yeah.
costuming I mean the makeup. It's a pain. So
And
I
save
think
the
you're
city for it.
I think you're going to see a couple of them possibly die, but I think
Rocket,
I,
rocket. My money's on rocket.
you're pushing it, and it's not going to end well for you. Just so you know.
You want to put money on
Um,
the line, bro? You want to put it? Make another bet. You owe me wings. I owe you a pizza. You want to make it for like drinks? Well, what do you like? What boobly? That's a horrible drink, by the way. Or
Stupid doctor's orders, man. Got to have the no sugar.
or no sugar, no caffeine soda for me.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so
Jelly Bean left us a comment. I appreciate that. Said Little Mermaid's going to be good. I think the soundtrack's going to be killer. Look, if it's anywhere near what the original soundtrack was, Earl, they'll blow up iTunes. It will
oh,
be a
absolutely.
massive hit. Remember Spider-Man Through the Spider-Verse?
It'll be stuck in your head for all summer. And I do think that they made a good Haley Berry.
Yeah,
I think should be fine as Ariel,
I think
and
so.
but I think they did a good choice for Ursula. It plays to her strengths, so she'll be able to play into a little bit of the comedic timing and everything going on there. So
So the CGI is a little wonky for me, to be honest
it's
with
so
you. Like
early.
Sebastian, well, it could be very much like Sonic when they were like, "Hey, we just got this out, but we're going to tweak it on the back end." And when Sonic
Yes.
worked out beautifully, so you know what? I'm going to give Disney the benefit of the doubt because they can't afford another loss. This is like being in the NBA playoffs. You can lose one, you can lose two, but you don't want to go down three because all of a sudden it's an insurmountable climb almost to get back to the top. And so, Guardians, Little Mermaid. Oh, there's this other movie floating out there. And see, basically every function of Disney is releasing a movie. You've got Marvel, you've got Disney proper, and then you got Pixar releasing Elementals, which
Elementals.
which it looks interesting, but it doesn't seem to have the push that a lot of the Disney branded animated movies tend to have. And so we'll see. If you look at Minions: The Rise of Gru last year, blew away all expectations. Puss in Boots, I talk about that movie all the time because it's amazing what it did. It made 400 million in the theaters while on Peacock, while on VOD, and it still made money in the theaters.
Well,
I can't explain it other than it was a cute little movie.
yeah.
It was.
Well, some of us like it. Curious Entertainment says the elementals will burn, and
I see what you did
I like
there.
the little
Well
play
done.
there. That
Mhm,
that
mhm.
was humor.
We
I
appreciate
appreciate
that.
that.
Yep.
And Lady Secret says, "What about Wish?"
Yeah, that's another movie that's coming out this year. It's going to be from Disney. It's actually a musical, is what it is. That's going to come out, if I remember right, and don't hold me to this, but I want to say it's late November. I think it's one of those Thanksgiving time movies. That could work really well for Disney because of kids being out of school, right? Theaters, if they're, you're gonna have the Marvels out during that time. You're gonna have the new Hunger Games movie out, but that could be a really good fit for Disney. And so, hey, I think it could do very well. But I want to add one more on top of Elementals during that same 90-day period, which is really about 60 days to be honest. Indiana Jones, Indiana 5, The Dial of Destiny. That one's coming from Lucasfilm. So basically, uh, every section of Disney's putting something out, and so this is really putting Disney up against the wall. They need some hits out of this. Let me see. Count one, two, three. I got four movies here. I would say you got to at least go two out of two. You can miss on maybe one or two, but you can't go less than 500 here.
We're unfroze now for y'all who are concerned. We're back. Sorry about
All right.
that. We did have some weather problems that we warned you about earlier in the video. Mother Nature is real. Mother Nature is mean sometimes, just like my own mother. I said it. But
Thank goodness she's not watching this broadcast because I would hate for that precious woman.
I'm going to make a clip of this, a GIF, and I'm going to just send it to her. Except I'm going to take my words and I'm going to splice it over a video of you saying something, so it'll look like you're saying it.
Mm-hmm. That's how you are.
but so you're liking it to the NBA to the pros. So you're saying it's not like DC plays like it's March Madness. We lose one, we don't care, it's over. Throw it all away. We don't care anymore.
Start all over again, basically, which has
Yeah, I
been what
mean,
they've done.
because they do have a few movies still coming out. So,
Mhm.
but their game plan is very much if we lose one, it's over. So you think Disney? What do you think their goal is to? Would you rather like strike out on one, or
Mhm.
would you rather you know bunt a few times? And what would you qualify Ant-Man 3 as?
Ant-Man 3, financially, I would say you struck out swinging.
Yeah.
If you want to put in baseball terms, you struck out. You never even put the ball in play. Because here's what they do when this is all said and done, Disney Plus strokes a check and they'll put that movie on Disney Plus. And then all of a sudden they'll have an infusion of cash. It's like, look, it made money. No, it really didn't. You're playing ledger games, moving the money from one place to the next. You didn't make the money you hoped. And I don't think Ant-Man 3 was a bad movie per se, but we did talk about going into this. Do you really want to change what was working for Ant-Man as a vibe, which is he's just kind of this goofy guy over here. He likes Baskin Robbins again. Who amongst us does not?
Yeah.
That might have been too much to throw on there, especially to lead with your big bad guy in that movie and make him the lead over all the movies. May not have been the best planning.
Okay.
I'm just throwing
Okay.
it out there. Oh,
Okay,
oh,
guys.
oh! Did you give me the hand? Excuse me.
No. Okay, guys. The comments. I'm joking. Okay, I know Mother's Day is coming up soon, and the Earl is going to pay for that. And
Yep.
and the
Yep.
what? You know what? As pointed out, the Lord Cephas is the host and administrator. He sent me a message, and I can show you that in a few minutes, where he told me to say that. I'm just doing what I'm told because I don't want to get kicked off the show.
There's a lot of soldiers that have been hung for behavior like that. We were just following orders. Sure, you
And
go right ahead and
continue.
go with that.
So to continue on with Disney and the 90 Day Fiance, one of our comments is Harrison Ford to be in the next Indiana, and that leads right into the continuation of the 90 Day Fiance, because not only is Harrison Ford coming back as Indiana Jones, but it will be his last portrayal of Indiana Jones. Does that mean he will die? Does that mean he will retire? Does that mean he will be put into a nursing home? We don't know. Just
I hope
oh no. Harrison Ford's almost 80 years old, right?
he,
Right?
he he is, but he's also a very manly man.
He
On
broke his
19,
hip walking out of the cockpit as Han Solo eight
that did
years
not
ago.
that did not happen. He got his leg caught in something, if I
The
remember correctly.
Terminators tried to kill him with the door shut. Yeah, that's right. I
You know,
forgot about
you know, my girls are not on this call, but they would tell you, don't mix and match your brands, sir. Your metaphors just don't work for us,
that. Well,
Junior.
I'm going to pay dearly. And because, thank you, Lady Cephas, because he is old. Harrison Ford is so old that not only you know what? I love you, Harrison Ford. You're Han Solo. You're the only true Jack Ryan, which he may be coming back as another Jack Ryan. I heard. I don't know the
Are you going to
late
give him credit for being Jacob Dutton on 1923?
who.
Oh, you need to go somewhere with your uncultured
Oh,
self.
no,
You
no,
are
no, no! I know
just.
who Jacob Dutton is. He's dead, right? Because he's old. He died like in what 1924. Since it was given 2 years, is the second season going to be called 1924? But back to Indiana Jones. So he's a Dutton. Yes, he is Dutton in 1923. So he's going to be dead now in the current Yellowstone because he's old, and that's why they got Harrison Ford to play. Moving on, Harrison Ford, don't hate me,
Ladies and
Lord.
gentlemen, I
Lord,
just
see,
want you to know that the opinions expressed by the Earl of Florida do not necessarily reflect those of myself, Lord Cephas, or the Midnight Magic Musings family. Listener discretion, viewer discretion of this show is greatly advised. Perhaps we'll have to put that caption in the notes information for the show for people who watch this later. I apologize, folks, but yes, he is going to be in that movie. There has been talk of maybe transitioning the Indiana Jones series to another character. Kind of cooled a little bit on that. We'll see
yeah, the
how
rumor.
that works out. There have been a lot of reshoots, but now that in a Marvel or a Lucasfilm movie, that's standard. anymore. There are always reshoots, but I do wonder if maybe they changed a few things based on test screenings. They do that all the time. They're doing that with the Marvels now. It's not an uncommon practice, but I'm going to make a prediction, Earl. I don't think he dies. He just won't. I think he does not die because you run the risk of pissing off the fan base pretty hard if you kill off the Indiana Jones.
So he chokes on his jello, but he gets Heimlicked and saved.
You know what? I can't deal with you right now. I'm done with you and your goofiness.
Well,
So
one person comments, "You are too funny." Yes, yes, I am. Another person comments, "Sorry, Cephas," and yes, Cephas is sorry. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Cephas is completely sorry. So thank you for joining the Earl side. Next week it'll be Cephas versus Earl.
you know the
Or
worst part
Lord.
of this, ladies and gentlemen, is this is actually the types of conversations we have just between the two of us. Literally, he pulls people in that aren't even there. This is the abuse that I put up with on a daily basis. So thank you for standing up for me. But unfortunately, this is a lifelong malady I've suffered
At one
because
point
I've suffered him as a lifelong malady.
later on, he's going to go back and look at the comments and realize that all the comments that were agreeing with me never existed. And he's going to be like, "I believed you." And I'll be like, "That was your first mistake." But no, the comments are real. You are on my side, guys. Love you.
Yeah, yeah. There are
So,
folks. There are folks who would rather climb a tree to tell a lie than stand on the ground and tell the truth. Earl, I think you definitely qualify as one of those types of people. Congratulations, you have set a new high in low. But that's Disney's outlook for the next 60 to 90 days. It's going to be very, very interesting. The question I have, Earl, in all seriousness, is does releasing all these movies in that 60-day ish window, do they pull against each other? As you add in Transformers, as you add in some other movies that are going to be coming out, is there enough box office pie to go around? It's still a quote from my friends on the Monty Show out of Utah. Is there enough butter for all the toast? I guess the answer is no, because he has not responded to that. So I'll just answer for him. We'll just have to wait and see. Earl, are you there? Earl? Earl has just faded off into darkness now, where he's just staring down at the desk, I guess. I don't know. Well, maybe Earl will be able to come back and join us. But in the meantime, we are going to move on to our next main topic, which is going to be the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now, hopefully you've had the opportunity to see this. Now, some of the critics came out when the movie happened and said, well, you know, the movie's not a deep movie. No, it's not a deep movie, but it does exactly what Mario's supposed to do. It's supposed to entertain us. I mean, anyone who's ever played, now look, I'm old. I remember the original Super Mario Brothers game on the old NES, on the Nintendo. But I remember Mario Brothers in the arcade with Donkey Kong. Why you have two plumbers who are running around trying to save a princess and to save a mushroom kingdom? I don't know. But they do. And I accept that. And it works. So we weren't trying to make a movie that changed the world or won a Nobel Peace Prize. We just wanted an entertaining movie that was faithful to the source material. And realistically, that's what they've turned out. According to Deadline this week, they crossed the $900 million total at the box office globally. That's an amazing number. This is already the highest grossing animated movie based on a video game ever. And now it's getting ready to open in Japan and in South Korea, which is interestingly enough, it hasn't opened there. And you know, Nintendo in its home country is going to explode financially when Japan begins to view this movie, when South Korea begins to see this movie, when Taiwan gets to see it. This is going to fly over the $1 billion mark with no problem. The real question I'm wondering is, does this have enough legs to hit 1.2, $1.5 billion? Maybe even a little bit more. That's going to be very, very interesting. In addition to that, what we've seen is Nintendo's kind of confirmed, yeah, we're looking at making more movies. I'm just going to tell you, it's been rumored. Earl and I have talked about this for weeks now. I'm telling you, there's a Zelda movie coming. And when that Zelda movie comes, it's going to rock. I promise you, I have faith in them that'll be very attentive to the source material. Oh, the Earl has returned. Let me bring him back in. He's backstage right now. I think the Zelda movie will be really, really good. Earl, are you back? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. After you had to shut me down. I see how it is. No, the weather was a little rough here, so
Yeah. Yeah, we're
the
having the
power
same issue
flickered.
here.
Yeah, lost all power flickered, so computer and everything went down. But I have returned. Never fear. Your favorite co-host has returned.
Oh, is he in the waiting room? Should I let him in too?
Yeah, the Baron's over here. I can let him
Okay.
on if you want.
Please don't leave him in the corner with his ugly hat. I want to give a shout out to Real Wade Nation Gaming Clip. Says, hey man, good to have you here. We appreciate you joining us. Jelly Bean, no, I did not. I did not kick him out. It was the
Yes, he
weather.
did.
First of all,
Recognize.
if I start hitting buttons, I'm liable to shut the whole stream down, and I don't want to do that. So I've got to be careful. So I'm not the most savvy here in StreamYard just yet, but we're getting there. But Earl, we were talking about they just crossed the $900 million threshold globally.
Yeah, like $98 million in what? 3 weeks? 3.5 weeks?
Look, its first weekend, it dropped less than 40%. That is unheard of for a movie in a second week of release to have less than that. And now
Yeah.
it's ramping up to hit that $1 billion. I'm sorry, we didn't hear that. Say it again.
That's unheard of for a Disney movie too.
I don't understand the Disney hate. They've hit a rough patch, and there are all different types of reasons for that. Some we'll talk about on the show. Some we'll leave for other places that can do that a little bit better than we can. But
I mean, it's hurt. I feel bad for their lack of success in some of the things that they've done, but I'll forgive them.
But now we look at Comcast Universal had their conference call today, which we'll talk a little bit about when we get to our very last topic, which is sort of our overtime session where we talk about just some little things here and there that we didn't really want to make full on topics. But I'll just give you a little nugget, Earl, to kind of tease you, to give you a preview here. When they released their numbers this morning, about 8:30, they started the conference call, so I got to have a little bit of it before I had to start work. They are up 90% year over year in their entertainment division, grossed 90% higher than they were. And they did that based on the rise of Gru. They did that based on Puss in Boots. They've done that based on Peacock, which owns the rights to Yellowstone. And if season 5 ever gets shot, or season 6, if it ever gets shot, maybe one day we'll get to see it.
Yeah.
But they reap the rewards of that. Now you have to go on Paramount to get the current season of Yellowstone, but all the back stuff is on Peacock, and people were binging that. Man, that was really good for them. Now you got Puss in Boots on there. Well, it's been on there for a while. Comcast Universal in a really good spot. Oh, by the way, the Earl and
thank you, Church Entertainment, for throwing that in there. WWE is also pay-per-views. Yeah.
That is correct. Yeah, and that's how the Earl and I watch the pay-per-views. We just watch the network through our Peacock app, and that's how we're able to do it. So they're doing very, very well, which, by the way, it'll be interesting to see, curious, how does that affect the next TV deal when it's coming up next year as WWE and the UFC? They're two companies have kind of merged into one. Now, it's not UFC and WWE becoming one company. It's never going to happen, but it's the parent companies coming together to kind of form one united company. But their money's through the roof. And now, look, they're building that Nintendo World in Orlando. Oh, you don't think Mario Kart's going to be huge? Trust me, when kids are walking out of this movie, Earl, they want to go home and play Mario Kart with the family. They want to play the video games. I want to sit over here instead of being on here, and I want to play Super Mario Brothers 3. I want the raccoon tail. I want to reach up and touch the leaf and bounce around with it.
We're going to try. We stay away from politics here, but with the issues that Disney is having in Orlando here, Universal is throwing open the doors. I actually saw that they had a discount coming up for this summer. And they're using every marketing thing they have to pull people in, because if you can hook them now and you've got all these things coming out, they're going to have repeat customers, and Universal is jumping all over it. And Super Mario Brothers is going to be one of the big attractions that's going to be pulling people in, because people are going to go see that movie, and then where can they go to see anything that has to do with Super Mario Brothers? Universal.
They're going to go to Walmart. They're going to buy the Super Mario figures and the Lego toys. And they're going to take because they want something to play with. That's how we're wired. They want to go home and play the video games. What's the newest one? Can we play Smash Brothers? Hey, what do we have from N64? Hey, let's get that through the Wii. There's all different games you can play. Mario and Sonic, the Olympics game. There's tons of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, Universal's sitting on a gold mine right now. Nintendo's sitting on a gold mine. And this is just an opinion. I think they'll stay very faithful to the source material. Lego World is another great point Curious brings up. They're sitting on something, and they know it. And the best way to keep it going is to give the people what they want.
And they've also
the fan base is asking for.
They've also got that Knuckles TV series coming out. I think it's supposed to be coming out by this fall or this winter. Again, with reprising his role as Knuckles. So I mean, they know what people want, and they're not going to sit on their haunches and wait, because you hit while it's hot. That's how you make your money.
And I really do believe that's one of the things that hurt the Mandalorian season 3 this year, was waiting 2 full years to get a new season out.
And the other part
that hurt them.
Yeah, well, the other part with Sonic 2 was almost, I watched both of them almost at the same time. The first Sonic and the second Sonic, and the second one to me was just as good as the first one, quality wise. I thought it was very well done. So, that's the other thing, consistent quality. Nintendo has shown that they have it. Some of these other places, like Mandalorian 3, it fluctuated a bit too much for my liking, but that's going to hurt with some of the less staunch followers. If you have that quality and consistent quality, if you build it,
they will come.
Yep.
That's what I heard as a little boy when I saw Field of Dreams. A couple of the points to add on to that, because they've got all this goodwill. Your point about Sonic, the fans spoke back and said, hey, this isn't working for us. They listened. They made changes, and now they've reaped the benefits and the rewards. There's going to be a Sonic 3. There are going to be more than just the Knuckles spinoff, because there's merchandising. I feel like Spaceballs the movie, a Yogurt the Wise, Yogurt the All Powerful. But that's Spaceballs the Flamethrower.
Where is Sonic 2? Jelly Bean wants to know.
I don't have it, but they are in the process of getting a script, from what I understand. So it will be coming. Don't you worry. And to the Earl's point, you know what? It's about consistency. It's about quality. Are they trying to save the world? No. They're trying to make a good movie you can go sit down and laugh at and enjoy. I cannot tell you, Earl, how many parents I've talked to who took their kids to see Super Mario Brothers, and their kids 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, these are hard age ranges to please. Laughing hysterically. Listen, the dialogue is not written in Shakespeare. It's just written for fans, for kids. And it works. What a crazy thought. It's good. I mean, you got Jack Black on there singing to Princess Peach. He won the internet. He won iTunes that weekend with that song. Love it. Absolutely love Jack Black's performance as Bowser. So it's just good quality entertainment that you can just enjoy it. Turn your mind off. For us older ones, we go back and think about what it was like the first time we played the video games, and how frustrating parts of it were, and how exhilarating some of it was, and why I was still upset that my aunt beat Super Mario Brothers the day before I did, and I still have to live with that shame the rest of my life, and why at least I beat Super Mario Brothers 2 before she did, so I have a little bit of dignity left. And so all those memories come flooding back. It's just a really good, fun movie. No, it's not going to change the world, but you know what? You can leave your problems at the door for 90 minutes or so. And so
Jack Black Mandalorian season 3, and the better Curious Entertainment pointed that out. And one thing I do want to point out, when I first saw that episode, I was like, man, that is an awesome beard, but it's probably fake. The beard's not fake. I'm like, oh, now I'm like, nah. Life goals.
I know. I don't know if anybody saw it, but when he showed up on the red carpet, he's wearing the Bowser suit. I mean, Jack Black just gets it. And those are the kind of actors people gravitate towards.
Yep.
Look, you've heard him sing and play instruments. He is an accomplished musician and singer. I mean, super underrated from Tenacious D on down. I couldn't lay a finger on him. I can play a little bit. I can sing a little bit, but no, the man can sing, the man can play. Yep. And he actually ratchets that character up for Bowser. To me, perfecto. Loved it. And curious, you're right. Jack Black was in that Mandalorian series. That one was a little uneven. It was interesting, I'll say that, because if you were here for that week, you heard my rant on it. Yeah, School of Rock was outstanding. Well said, Curious. Yeah. So that's kind of the main topics that we had tonight. Again, we didn't know how well we were going to hold up with the weather. And so we're going to go ahead and just kind of transition here into our MMM overtime. This is where we just kind of talk about some of the topics that jump out to us or topics that people bring to us here in the comments. It didn't really fit anywhere else. Earl, do you have any things that you wanted to touch on that maybe weren't part of the main topics, but you just wanted to get it off your chest tonight here?
Well, I'm sorry, Lord Cephas. Her heart's taken. Jack Black is her man. You'll be getting the paperwork in the mail. And Tyler Langford, can't wait to see it. I have yet to see the new Super Mario Brothers. I have failed this city and this fandom. I do really want to see it, and actually, it's going to be on my to-do list at the drive-in next weekend. Well, I guess it's this weekend, in 2 days. It's playing there. So I will be hitting that. So I will know what everybody else is screaming about. So I can't wait to see it. I won't admit to it, but my kids want to see it.
I have no shame. Look, me and Lady Cephas, man, that's our jam, right? We love Mario Brothers. Shout out to Tyler, by the way. Good to see you, my friend, in here. Appreciate your support. Anything else that jumps out at you specifically? Anything from the world of entertainment that you wanted to touch on?
Well, we do talk about Star Wars quite a bit and everything, but I want to shift gears over. We get a little bit closer to the Flash coming out, and
yes,
that is a giant bundle of madness, because you have a lot of people that there's a lot of hopes hung to it. There's a lot of actors that are tied to it. Todd Langford said, "Hey, man," and so you know what? I'm nervous and worried and excited, and I want it to be good, but I have no idea anymore what's going to happen. What about you?
I want it to be good. I think that's all I can say is I want it to be good, but I've been let down by a lot of things, and so I'm just going to reserve my opinion and say, hey, I'm hoping we get something good. We're not going to turn this show political, but I do have questions about how certain actors are being treated over here and how the actor in the lead of The Flash is being treated over here. I have some questions about fairness, about, look, he's your lead, and there's some real legal entanglements that are concerning. But I do understand that they need this movie. They need this movie to be a hit, because it's basically going to reset the entire DC universe under your Godfather gun to kind of get it to where they want to start taking it. So the movie's already shot. I guess you might as well release it.
You know what? I have heard, though, that this movie might not be a reset like it was originally planned or presented. Mm-hmm. And Curious says, boo Grant Gustin or Ship. I guess we're talking about John Wesley Shipp.
I love both Grant Gustin and John Wesley Shipp. I'm a big fan of The Flash. I've stuck with it, even though the last couple seasons have been a little tougher.
Can't support you, can't support him. Surely she's talking about Lord Cephas. I understand her trepidation for supporting you as the host of this show after the way you behaved tonight. But, I completely agree, Lady Cephas. Now, there is the rumor that there is the Flash, there is a rumor of a Flash cameo. But from what I've heard, it's actually, what was the character? Jay Garrick, the one who played, who became Zoom, not the Jay Garrick played by
something Solomon, wasn't it? I think
Yeah,
that was his last Hunter
that,
Solomon or something like that.
so rumor is that he's actually going to have a cameo in this, and I'm not entirely sure why they, if it's true, why they went with him. But I have no idea. It's interesting. It's just a report that I that came across my desk. Lady
I,
Cephas says, Lord and Lady Cephas. I do believe that is correct, Tyler Langford. However, there are rumors that there are documents in the mail because she has set her heart for Jack Black. So I'm sorry, Lord Cephas. I don't know if that's going to spell your doom or not. But yes, as of right now, it is Lord and Lady Cephas.
so yes, I could be replaced by Jack Black because he's talented and has money, and I'm 0 for 2 on this one. Yeah, and the beard. Yeah, I shaved, so I'm 0 for 3 here. I would love to see Grant Gustin get a good run in the Flash movie. He's been the Flash for me for the last 9 seasons.
And 10 seasons of Arrowverse? He showed up in.
Yeah, because he started it. It was a spinoff of Arrow.
Yep.
He started next season. Arrow went 8 seasons.
So,
That'd be 10 seasons of Arrowverse. In fact, they actually just brought back Stephen Amell for this week's episode of The Flash.
I haven't seen it, but
I haven't seen the one before it, so I can't see it yet. I got to watch the one before it, and I can comment on it. But I would love to see Grant Gustin get some screen time because I think he's earned it. He's done a really good job as the Flash. And let's be honest, some of the material in the last few seasons is the dialogue's been rough, so to speak. Candace Patton, who I adore, I feel like she's done a really good job, but you can tell the show has started to kind of, slip a little, and that's why they're bringing it to an end. But I'm glad that it still gets to end on a positive note because that should have been the Flash all along. The Flash is the one who's the positive one.
Yeah.
It certainly an Arrow who's brooding over in the corner, or Supergirl who's Girl Scout and everything. It's the Flash who's like, I always see the best in everyone. We can do this. Teamwork makes the dream work. All that kind of stuff. So hopefully Grant gets that opportunity. I would love to see him at least get a really good cameo appearance, if not more. So we'll see what comes of that. There, I don't know, but I would like to see that be for Grant. I have one for you, and that is there are talks that they are going to do a sequel to Dodgeball.
Chuck Norris is still around.
I need Chuck Norris in it. And for those of you that are asking for another dad joke, and I know none of you are, just remember, kids, go sit around a campfire and tell Chuck Norris stories. You heard it here second. You didn't hear it here first. But yes, they are talking about doing a sequel to Dodgeball. And honestly, why not?
Yeah, and let's face it, Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the world down. When
you're Chuck Norris, you can do whatever you want. One other thing that was on my screen that came out this week, IDW. They are a publishing company of books such as Lock and Key, which had a series on Netflix. And they've produced some show. Well, some of their properties have been turned into shows. There was the one on Netflix. It's Dirk Gently something. It's like Holistic Detective Agency or something like that. They were responsible for Wynonna Earp on Sci-Fi. Listen. I'm just reporting the information.
You know what? I like on Wynonna Earp. It was a painful series at times, most of the time. But some of the characters and the character actors, they kept you coming back. So I guiltily watched 3 seasons of Wynonna Earp for the secondary characters. I'll admit.
First of all, I don't want you to ever have to apologize for what you like. We love and appreciate everybody here, and whatever you like, we're happy for you. But the reason I bring that up is IDW laid off about 40% of their workforce, and if that isn't significant enough, they delisted themselves from the New York Stock Exchange. That's a pretty big move when a company takes itself off the ticker. So that's not good. But one of the things that we've talked about is the comic publishing. It's been in trouble for a long time.
Yeah.
Comics don't sell like they used to. We had all new Marvel. Didn't work. New 52. Most of those titles were canceled. I read Static Shock, New 52. It only lasted eight issues. And they announced it was canceled in issue number 7. So I got to read issue number 8. It's just not working. And some of it is people aren't reading comics. You know what they're reading? They're reading manga, which has found a huge place. And hey, I'm all for it. If you like it, read it. That's great. But they're struggling there. And it's really hitting companies hard. Now, for Disney, who owns Marvel, it's a loss leader. It's not killing them. For Warner, DC's not killing them. But for some of these other companies, it's a major loss for them. And that really does bother me because I'm a comic guy growing up reading stuff. Look, we're old enough to remember when our town did not have a comic book store. You know, we went to the local convenience store and you could get a soda and you get a comic book off the news rack. And it was like the greatest day ever. I can remember getting G.I. Joe, Transformers, Justice League. So I'm saddened to see that the industry continues to struggle.
And it's also disheartening because some of the contacts that we've made through the recent Comic-Con trip, these are comic creators. You know, they write and draw and publish these comics themselves and in-house. So I mean, we want comics to stay alive because for us it was a integral part of our childhood growing up. And I don't know what would have taken its place if we didn't have that particular avenue to go to read, to look at the pictures, and potentially steal comics from one another. I don't know.
Yeah, it never happened, right? Yeah, how the Earl showed up with 4 copies of what was it, X-Men 300, the one that had Wolverine and Bishop and all on the front when they relaunched the title, and it had that silver cover. And how he got that book when he didn't have that book, I'll still never know.
eBay.
There's a mystery that'll never be solved. Tyler shares that he appreciates our dad jokes, and man, Tyler, thank you. It's good to have you here, my friend. Good to hear from you. Have a great night. Well, that's all that I have right there. Just a few housekeeping matters before we get ready to hand this off. We want to always be respectful of people's time. You come spend time with us, we are going to give you what we got, and we're not going to dawdle. We're going to head on out. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching. If you're watching this on replay, still go ahead and drop a comment in there. We will absolutely respond to it. We appreciate all your feedback, your comments, your likes. We'll take your dislikes. We just like interacting with everybody. So we do have go ahead.
You know the saying, tell us I'm right. Tell us we're wrong. Tell us something. We promise not to cry in the corner more than 5 minutes, unless we're Lord Cephas and he's in trouble from Lady Cephas and it's also the doghouse, and then we'll make an exception.
Who hurt you that made you this way? Literally. It's like the Spider-Man meme. Where did the bad person hurt you? Exactly. We see exactly how that was. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just a couple of housekeeping matters and we'll get out of here. Next weekend, we have a WWE Backlash. So we will not cover it under Midnight Magic Musings. We cover it under our Combat One Wrestling podcast. We do a review of that. We have a couple of interviews that I'm working on for our Combat One Wrestling podcast. One wrestler who did an interview with us and was retired apparently was so fired up by his interview with us, he's getting back into the ring. So we'll talk to him about that a little bit. I've got a couple of other active wrestlers who are tentatively okay with coming on and talking to the Earl and I. So that's going to be cool. We'll have some sports stuff this weekend on our one-on-one sports podcast, talking about the NBA playoffs, talking a little bit about college football. Heck, I got to go to Alabama last weekend and cover the spring game. First time I've gotten to do that. And thanks to our podcast for allowing me to do it. So we've got a lot of stuff for the entire family. So just keep coming back, keep checking, like it, subscribe, comment, share this stuff out to everybody if you appreciate it. We're not for everybody and we're not trying to be. We're just doing the things that we enjoy, and what you see is what you get. And again, we appreciate all of you being a part of it. So on behalf of the Earl of Florida, I'm simply your humble host, Lord Cephas. We want to thank you for listening. We want to thank you for watching, for commenting, for bantering back and forth with us. We will see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Love you.
Yes, Curious. I'm sorry. Pay-per-view review. Yes, we'll do a pay-per-view review. Absolutely. Yep. After Backlash, we absolutely do that. We break down the matches, talk about our thoughts on it, and what we're looking forward to usually for the following Monday night and for the pay-per-views going forward. So yes, sir. We
We
absolutely.
still love all you other reviewers out there watching.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We'll be watching it. We'll be up late, but that's what we do. So yeah, come on back for that. We'd love to have you. All right.
guys.
Appreciate it, everybody. Take care. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.